Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how people don't panic when you're always available? But the moment you disappear, their mind starts racing? They check their phone. They replay conversations. They wonder what they did wrong. And suddenly, you're not just someone anymore. You're a mystery. Today, I'm going to reveal 10 things they secretly feel when you suddenly disappear, according to female psychology and emotional attachment patterns. This isn't about manipulation. This is about understanding how absence rewires attraction, value, and power. And trust me, most people never realize what they feel until it's too late. So listen carefully, because silence is louder than words. Stay till the end, because number 7 is the feeling that makes people chase without even realizing they are chasing. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right, now let's continue. Number 1. Confusion. Why did she change? The first emotion they feel is confusion, not anger, not sadness, confusion. Because in their mind, nothing happened. No argument, no dramatic goodbye. You were just there yesterday, and now you're not. Their brain starts scanning for answers. Did I say something wrong? Did I miss a sign? Was she pretending the whole time? And here's the psychological part. The human brain hates unfinished stories. When you disappear without explanation, you become an open loop. And open loops don't let people rest. They'll scroll through old messages looking for clues. They'll analyze the last conversation frame by frame. They'll try to remember the exact tone of your last words. Because confusion demands resolution. And when there's no resolution available, the mind creates its own theories. Most of those theories, by the way, center around them. What they did, what they didn't do, how they failed to notice something. This is where your power begins, not through what you say, but through what you don't. And once confusion sets in, something far more dangerous follows. Number 2. Self-doubt. Was I not enough? After confusion comes self-doubt. They stop analyzing you and start analyzing themselves. Was I boring? Too distant? Too available? Did she find someone better? Even confident people feel this, because your disappearance removes validation they didn't realize they depended on. And the moment validation disappears, the ego gets restless. See, most people build a sense of security around consistent interactions. Your good morning texts, your reactions to their stories, your laugh at their jokes. These small moments become emotional anchors. And when those anchors are suddenly pulled up without warning, they're left floating in uncertainty. The questions become more personal, more cutting. Am I not attractive enough? Did I become too predictable? Was everything I thought we had one-sided? And here's what makes this so psychologically powerful. You're not doing anything to them. You're simply absent. Yet that absence creates a mirror where they're forced to confront their own insecurities. Insecurities they may have been avoiding for months. Number 3. Loss of control. I don't have access anymore. This one hits deep. When you were present, they had emotional access to you, your attention, your reactions, your replies. When you disappear, that access is gone. And psychologically, loss of access feels like loss of control. They can't predict you anymore. They can't read you. They can't influence you. And humans are deeply uncomfortable when they can't control an outcome. Think about it. Before you disappeared, they knew that if they sent a message, you'd respond. If they reached out, you'd engage. If they needed reassurance, you'd provide it. That predictability gave them a sense of power. But now they're powerless. They can send a message and hear nothing. They can wonder about you and learn nothing. They can miss you and change nothing. This shift is destabilizing. And destabilization, ironically, often increases emotional investment because people chase what they can't control. This next feeling is where attraction quietly reignites. Number 4. Sudden value increase. She mattered more than I thought. Here's a harsh truth of human psychology. People don't fully value something until it's gone. When you disappear, your absence forces comparison. Your presence versus the silence. Your energy versus emptiness. And suddenly, things they overlooked, your voice, your warmth, your uniqueness, start feeling rare. Not because you changed, but because distance clarified your value. They remember the way you listened when no one else did, the way you challenged them in conversations, the way you made ordinary moments feel lighter. All the things they took for granted become the things they crave. This is the economics of attention. When something is abundant, it's undervalued. When it becomes scarce, demand increases. You didn't become more valuable by changing. You became more valuable by becoming unavailable. And this realization, that they had something special and let it slip, plants the seed of regret. Number 5. Emotional withdrawal syndrome. Something feels off. This feeling is subtle but powerful. They wake up and feel off. Nothing dramatic, just an emotional imbalance, because your presence had become part of their emotional routine. And when a routine breaks, the body reacts before the mind does. This is why people miss someone even when they don't want to. It's not always about love. Sometimes it's about rhythm. You were part of their day, part of their emotional baseline, and now that rhythm is broken. They feel it in small moments, reaching for their phone and remembering you won't reply, seeing something funny and having no one to share it with, feeling anxious and realizing the comfort they used to get from you is gone. These micro losses accumulate, and they create a low-grade emotional discomfort that doesn't go away with distraction. Because it's not about what they're doing, it's about who's missing. And now we enter the phase where curiosity turns obsessive. Number 6. Obsession through imagination. When you disappear, their mind fills the silence, and imagination is always more intense than reality. They imagine you happier, more confident, with someone else. And psychology shows this clearly. Uncertainty amplifies emotional attachment. They don't know what you're doing, so their mind keeps creating scenarios. You become a mental presence even when you're physically gone. They picture you laughing with someone new, looking better than ever, living your best life without them in it. And these mental images, they hurt more than actual evidence ever could. Because the imagination has no limits. It creates the worst-case scenario on loop. They wonder if you've moved on completely, if you think about them at all, if you're relieved they're gone. And the more they imagine, the more emotionally entangled they become. This is the paradox of absence. The less access someone has to you, the more space you occupy in their mind. Number 7. Fear of replacement. What if I'm already irrelevant? This is the one that triggers chasing behavior, the fear that they've been replaced, not logically, emotionally. Someone else hearing your laugh, someone else getting your attention. This fear activates competitive instincts, and competition reawakens desire. Even people who were emotionally lazy suddenly feel urgency, because the idea of being replaceable is unbearable to the ego. They might not have wanted you fully before, but the thought of someone else having you, that flips a switch. Suddenly they remember why they were interested in the first place. Suddenly your qualities seem irreplaceable. Suddenly they want to reach out, prove themselves, win you back. This isn't love, it's fear-driven desire, but it's powerful nonetheless, because no one wants to be forgotten. And now comes the most uncomfortable realization of all. Number 8. Regret. I should have done more. Regret hits quietly. They remember moments they took lightly, texts they didn't reply to properly, effort they postponed. And regret is powerful because it's mixed with guilt. They don't just miss you, they miss the version of themselves they could have been with you. They replay conversations and cringe at their own carelessness. They remember times you reached out and they were too busy. They realize they had chances to go deeper, and they chose surface level instead. Regret asks the cruelest question: what if I had tried harder? And that question has no answer. Because you can't rewind time, You can't undo neglect. You can only sit with the weight of what's lost. And that weight? It's heavy. Number 9. Identity disruption. Who am I without this connection? Here's something rarely discussed. Some people subconsciously define themselves by who gives them attention. When you disappear, that reflection disappears too. They feel less seen, less validated, less certain. And this identity disruption creates emotional instability, which often leads them to reach out, even if they swore they wouldn't. Because your attention wasn't just nice to have, it was part of how they saw themselves. Funny because you laughed. Interesting because you engaged. Attractive because you responded. Without you, those confirmations vanish, and they're left wondering who they are in the absence of your gaze. This existential discomfort is why people break no contact, not because they've resolved anything, but because they need the mirror you provided. The final feeling explains why silence is so powerful. Number 10. Respect. She had the strength to walk away. Eventually, after confusion, fear, obsession, and regret, comes respect. Because disappearing without begging, arguing, or explaining signals self-worth. It says, I know my value, and I don't chase attention. And respect is the foundation of real attraction. People may forget words, but they never forget how powerless your absence made them feel. They respect that you didn't break, that you didn't need closure, that you didn't need the last word. You simply left. And that kind of quiet strength? It's rare. It commands respect even from people who don't want to give it. Disappearing isn't about punishment. It's about removing access to someone who didn't value it. And female psychology responds deeply to absence because it forces emotional accountability. Sometimes silence teaches what words never could. Your absence becomes the lesson they didn't know they needed. And the space you create allows them to finally feel what they refused to acknowledge when you were present. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. If this video gave you a new perspective, make sure to like it. It helps more people see the truth. Subscribe to this channel for more deep insights on psychology, attraction, and power dynamics. And don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel. There's a lot more wisdom waiting for you.